I come to this Bitcoin conference, I see people that share my values, and they're hopeful, and they're cheerful, and they're constructive, and we all have an aligned interest that's both economic interest and also an ideological interest. And so I think probably the best thing about being in Bitcoin and taking a position on Bitcoin is the community and feeling like you found a family.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is Top Crypto Bull here once again for your daily Bitcoin and crypto update. Well, just like Michael Saylor said, or in this case, baby Michael Saylor said, the Bitcoin conference is coming up tomorrow. It starts tomorrow, May 27th, 2025 in Las Vegas. So this will be at the Bitcoin conference 2025. And are we going to see a Bitcoin conference 2025 dump? That is the question. Now, all the past years, the last 4 years, ever since they've had ever since they've had Bitcoin conference every year around this time, either in April or May, every year we get a Bitcoin dump. So right now, Bitcoin is sitting at $109,308 at the time of recording. But we might see a dump. So, we might, go up a little bit today. But maybe tomorrow, either tomorrow or the next day, because I believe the Bitcoin conference, I don't know if it's 1 or 2 days. But I mean, it'll probably dump either tomorrow or the next day. So, either sometime during the Bitcoin conference or the day after the Bitcoin conference is when we see the Bitcoin dump. Now, I don't mean we're going to crash. We're not going to crash, I don't think we'll crash, below $100,000. But we might go back down to like $105,000, right around there, just a little bit. So definitely, just keep a lookout. Don't get scared, don't get fearful, don't get shaken out in case you see a retracement, during the Bitcoin conference 2025, or a day or two afterwards. Sometimes it happens the day of the Bitcoin conference, or sometimes it happens, a day or two after. So be careful. We are gonna see a Bitcoin probably dump or correction in the next few days. So yeah, just get ready. Just wanted to let you guys know about that. And also coincidentally, we are headed into a new moon. Now here on the Bitcoin chart, it hasn't marked the blue dot for the blue moon yet. Here we can see the blue moons are the blue dots are the new moons, and the gray dots are the full moons. But I don't know if you know or not, but usually on the new moons it marks a Bitcoin top, and on the full moons it marks a Bitcoin bottom, local bottoms and local highs. So the blue new moons, they mark a local Bitcoin top, and the gray full moons, they mark a Bitcoin local bottom. Now it doesn't work out all the time, but a lot of times it does. Like right here, here on January, 13, 2025, we got a full moon and marked the local bottom. Here on January 29th, it didn't mark the exact top, but basically marked the top. The exact top was on January 20th. But it's pretty close. I mean, it's not exact science, but usually about a few days before the new moon or a few days after, it marks a local top. And usually a few days before the full moon or a few days after, it marks the local bottom. So you see how sometimes it works out, but not all the time. But there's something to keep in mind, whether it's if you follow the new moon or the full moon, indicators. But historically speaking, the Bitcoin conference every year it does mark a Bitcoin local top. So we might see a retracement here. I'm saying if we do correct, it'll be a just like probably like a 4 or 5% correction. Maybe we'll go see $105,000. Maybe a little bit less, a little bit more. Right around 105K is probably where I think the correction is gonna go to. That would be my guess. But again, nobody really knows what Bitcoin's gonna do in the next 24 hours, or in the next week, or the next month. All we could do is go by the chart, historical performance, and the historical performance shows that every Bitcoin conference we do retrace a little bit. So we'll see what happens. Just wanted to make you guys aware that we're probably going to see a Bitcoin conference 2025 dump. I'm thinking we'll go to around 105K, but don't be surprised if we do go all the way down to 100K. It is possible we might see, like a 10% correction, but I'm thinking we'll probably see like a 5% correction, probably somewhere around 105K. So there you go. Just wanted to make you guys aware of that. Don't be surprised if we see a Bitcoin dump. All right, just wanted to give you guys that update. The Bitcoin conference 2025 does start tomorrow, so don't be surprised if we see a 2025 Bitcoin conference 2025 dump. But overall, I'm still bullish. I do still think we're about to see the parabolic bull run phase for Bitcoin and cryptos. I do believe we're in the beginning phase of the altcoin season. I mean, if we look at the Bitcoin dominance, I mean, it's just kind of been going sideways, the last few days, the last 5-6 days, it's just been going sideways, right around 64% Bitcoin dominance. We just got to stay below 65%. I'm hoping the Bitcoin dominance topped off on May 7th, 2025. Hopefully it topped off there, and hopefully, we stay strong. And for Bitcoin, and we want to stay weak for the Bitcoin dominance. We need the Bitcoin dominance to fall off the cliff. The lower the Bitcoin dominance goes, the bigger the altcoin season. I don't know if you remember or not, but on May 7th, after it topped off, it dropped 3%. The next week, it went all the way down to like 61.89%. But that's when we saw major rallies. We saw Ethereum go from like 1,300 all the way up to like 2,700. So I mean, it basically did like a 100% move, and that's just with a 3% Bitcoin dominance drop. So imagine once Bitcoin dominance starts falling, another 3%, 5%, or even 10%, it's gonna make Ethereum and all the altcoins moon. So get ready. I do believe we're still in the beginning phase of the altcoin season, and I do believe after we see this Bitcoin conference 2025 dump, that's after that we'll see a recovery, and that might mark the local low, the local bottom, and we might see the start of the parabolic bull run for Bitcoin and the true altcoin season. Again, I believe it already started, but we'll see the continuation, and we'll see Bitcoin continue to rally, and the true altcoin season to continue to moon. So get ready, get ready. Don't want to miss out on the Bitcoin parabolic bull run, and you don't want to miss out on the Bitcoin on the altcoin parabolic bull run as well. So yeah, just get ready. Just wanted to make this quick video for you guys that we are probably going to see a dump. But again, I do believe the bull run is still in effect. Just because we dump a little bit because of the Bitcoin conference 2025 doesn't mean we're gonna go into a bear market, ain't like that. The DXY is still looking low. The DXY is still falling off the cliff. It's at $98.98 right now. The DXY keeps downtrending. It's staying at low prices. As long as we stay beneath $104 for the DXY, that'll be good. We just gotta stay low underneath 104 ideally. But ideally we want to see it underneath 101, between 97 and 101. And our favorite altcoins and Bitcoin will start to moon as well. So the DXY is looking low. The Bitcoin dominance is not going too high. We just need it to stay below 65%. We don't want it to make a new all-time high. We want it to drop off the table. So everything is looking good. So I just wanted to make this quick video for you guys. Just look out for a quick dump for the Bitcoin conference 2025. I'm thinking we could see anywhere between a 5% to a 10% correction. So anywhere between 105,000, maybe even as low as 100,000 after the retracement is over. But again, after the retracement is over, I expect a quick recovery, and then I expect us to go into a Bitcoin bull rally and an altcoin rally as well. And this will probably happen sometime in early June. So there you go. Just get ready. Just wanted to make you aware of the Bitcoin conference 2025 Bitcoin dump that's about to come. So yeah, don't be surprised, don't get shaken out, and don't get fearful if this does happen. Again, nobody knows 100% what's really going to happen, but historically speaking, we have always dumped at the Bitcoin conference every year. So get ready. Now I'm gonna finish off the video by playing the Michael Saylor video I played in the beginning.
I see people that share my values. When I come to this Bitcoin conference, I see people that share my values, and they're hopeful, and they're cheerful, and they're constructive. And we all have an aligned interest that's both economic interest and also an ideological interest. And so I think probably the best thing about being in Bitcoin and taking a position on Bitcoin is the community and feeling like you found a family. When I come to this Bitcoin conference, I see people that share my values, and they're hopeful, and they're cheerful, and they're constructive. And we all have an aligned interest that's both economic interest and also an ideological interest. And so I think probably the best thing about being in Bitcoin and taking a position on Bitcoin is the community and feeling like you found a family.